Turning to our top story, China has replaced its Foreign Minister Qin Gang after he mysteriously disappeared from the public eye. Wang Yi is taking over, with the state media simply saying the former Foreign Minister was removed from his position. But let's discuss what has unfolded behind the scenes. Joining me now is Professor John Fitzgerald, author of Cadre Country, How China Became the Chinese Communist Party. John, thank you very much for joining me. I know we have a shaky line, you're in Taiwan, but I was very keen to speak with you about this. What are your suspicions around this? Do you agree with the assessment that this extramarital affair has led to his downfall?
Yeah, well, we're not on top of all the detail. Obviously, the facts that we have in front of us relate to the career of Fu Xiaotian, to the career profile as well of the former Foreign Minister Qin Gang, and some more murky details around what's been happening with the anti-corruption campaign and Xi Jinping trying to clean up the security apparatus or eliminate people left over from the earlier regime who still dominate the security apparatus. So we throw all those into the mix, and I say we know some things, so we're a bit of a loss trying to interpret them. My sense is that while it's certainly the case that senior leaders have been known to have affairs and mistresses and so on, when those mistresses or romantic partners, perhaps in this case, go public on the social media, it creates a difficult situation, both for their paramour and for the party leadership.
And so what's your view on reports that Fu Xiaotian could have been spying? Because Phoenix Television is ultimately controlled by security services in China. It was one of the so-called victims or targets of Chinese President Xi Jinping's purge. And she was escalated, as you mentioned. She rose up the ranks to become their high-profile TV host quite quickly. She was then having this reported affair with the high-profile foreign minister, a favourite of Xi Jinping's. So do you think there could be any substance to the claims of espionage?
Well, espionage doesn't normally apply to sort of internal domestic affairs. It's not one faction spying on another and reporting on it within the country. That wouldn't normally be counted espionage. That'd be counted brutal Communist Party politics. That's the norm. Espionage usually involves foreign power. Now, I've not seen any evidence at this point that any foreign power is involved here. It does appear to be a domestic issue. There could well be some foreign power involved, but there's been no evidence of that to date. So I'd put espionage aside. Whether there's, I think, as you suggested, pillow talk along the way, that may be the case. But insofar as she's not sharing it seems, with a foreign power, but perhaps with others within the party system, that's just party politics. That's how politics works in China, and I should add in many other countries. So the difference is in China, it's not often it comes out into the public domain. Here we hear about these things pretty quickly, but in China, a cone of silence descends normally over all these kinds of conflicts between factions and interest groups. Not this time.
How do you think that this indicates a power struggle for Xi Jinping?
So Xi has been, since he came to power in 2012-13, systematically eliminating all rival networks within the party. And these aren't just factional networks. Sometimes these are provincial networks. At other times, they're institutional networks associated, say, with the armed forces or security services. And sometimes they're industries, for example, oil or steel industries. And there are networks of party officials who rise to the top and support one another throughout their careers. When he came to power, he was in command of a system that was more or less uncommandable. And he wanted to wanted to put his own people in place and eliminate those others. That's been underway now for a long time. And it's clear that he's largely succeeded. So what we see here, I think, is a relatively minor blip, at least as I interpret it, on his path towards consolidating his authority over every institution. Back in 21, just 2 years ago now, he began systematically to weed out what he called corrupt elements within the security services. And often they are associated not with the Shanghai group, or particularly with the Shanghai Group, but with the former head of the party military commission, not the military commission, sorry, the police and security services in the country, Zhou Yongkang. But there are other factions as well associated with the military that he's been systematically eliminating along the way.
But just sorry, apologies for interrupting you, but one of those was at Phoenix Television.
Correct. So Phoenix Television, it's long been understood, since its founding in 1998, has got very, very close links to the Ministry of State Security and some degree with the defence industry. It's been given permission to do what other television stations founded in China have not been allowed to do. That's because it has that kind of protection at the highest level. My understanding is that Xi Jinping, yes, moved to eliminate some of the leading groups overseeing that organisation, and they are linked to what's called the Shanghai faction, Zheng Qinghong, his brother, and their networks formerly associated with Jiang Zemin. And Fu Xiaotian's emergence, so rapid rise through the system, came about under their administration. So one can assume she's somehow linked to that group, which is no longer in favour in Beijing.
Yeah, and look, and as we've discussed already on the show, a rose garden named after her at Cambridge, travelling in a private jet back to China from the US in April, so definitely some powerful backers. John Fitzgerald, thank you very much for joining us from Taiwan.